in May
Gotcha.
of 2020. So
Cool.
this is
All right.
an approved agenda. Thank you.
Just wanted to make sure my language was correct.
Trustees, we are live and recording.
All right. Well, with that, I will go ahead and call to order
So
Cool.
this is
All right.
an approved agenda. Thank you.
Just wanted to make sure my language was correct.
Trustees,
Wow.
we are live and recording.
All right. Am I the only one getting that bad feedback?
No.
Okay. I was in a time warp for a second. Okay. So we'll go ahead and call to order the regular Squared Board meeting for Tuesday, December 15th, 2020. We will start off with roll call. Vice President Pizzotti.
Here.
Clerk Kirby Gonzalez.
Here.
Trustee Wong.
I did.
Okay, and I too am present. All right, we'll move down to the 2020 Board President and Trustees comments. Let's go ahead and start with Vice President Pizzotti.
Yeah, tonight's going to be one of those pretty, bittersweet nights. We get to welcome a new member of the family with Alvaro Venegas, and have a new added member to the team. With that, it kind of brings me great joy, but at the same time, I lose two very dear friends. First I'm going to start off by saying, President Jackson, it's been an honor and a privilege to serve with you. That's some pretty bad feedback. And just grow to know you as not just a great board member, but get to know you as a friend and somebody who I can bounce ideas off of, and get great feedback from, especially as an educational leader and somebody who works as a classroom teacher. It's really just helped me in my journey in learning the ins and outs of navigating what board life is like. Additionally, you've really helped me on my journey of viewing things through a lens of equity, and I appreciate everything you've done in that capacity and helped me. And it's also been great having another dad on the board. So I do appreciate the life with daughters, and we can commiserate on that and have been able to share in our experiences. So I want to say thank you for all the time and the friendship that you've shared with me over these last 2 years. Secondly, I'd like to say, Linda, I'm so sad. I'm so sad. You have been a great mentor and, a role model for so many people, but most importantly, you've helped me understand and grow so much. If there is any one person that I can say has helped me become a better board member, it's you. We've been on the board virtually at the same time. You came in a couple months before I did, and we've shared the same, experiences, the same traumas, the same joys, the same everything. And you're such a steady and calming person when I wanted to explode and just absolutely go on a rampage. You've kept me under control, and I appreciate that, and many people would say, well, she didn't do that great of a job, but think about what it could have been, is kind of the way I think of it. You just have such an open and welcoming feeling that you give off. And I think that's something that it's such an intangible that people don't understand and how beneficial it is. Not to mention your wealth of experience. You know, you've been through every facet of this district. You've had every cabinet post that you've had to sit in for and do. You know, you had to do HR, you had to do CBO, you had to do superintendent, and as well as assistant superintendent of ed services. You've had to do it all for a period of time to pick up the slack. You know, and I know the hardest thing for you to do is to let go sometimes, but now's the time for you to let go and enjoy your retirement. And that's the part that's hardest for me, is to let go and let go of a dear friend. But you won't be getting rid of me that easily, because I do have your cell phone number. So with that, I will always be in your ear. So with that, I would just want to say you have a much deserved rest coming about, and I can't tell you how much you're going to be missed.
All right, Clerk Kirby Gonzalez.
I love that visual, President Jackson, right now.
Have to do some comforting.
I thought you were going to go first, but so I will say first to welcome, I see some families on here as well and friends. And so welcome to you. This is an exciting night tonight. And I want to thank you, President Jackson, for your service, not only as president this past year, but for the past 2 years. Thank you for all of the work that you have done in this role and in your capacity here. And thank you for bringing to the forefront the work we have been doing around equity and bias and also inclusion. And it has been deeply appreciated. And I want to thank you for your service. I did not make comments last time around to our newly elected, so I will say I'll start with Vice President Pizzotti. Congratulations on another 4 years. Thank you for always leading honestly and talking openly about your challenges that are the stories that so many of our families face, of going through school, being undiagnosed, and the struggles that you have had with dyslexia, and now navigating the challenges as a parent. It's appreciated, and thank you for always bringing those voices that need to be heard to the table. And congratulations. And to Trustee Wong, congratulations to you on another 4 years. It has been my honor to have served with you on the CSBA Equity Network, and I'm excited about the work that has happened, and I'm excited about the work that is to come. And thank you for always bringing data to the forefront and making sure that we are making decisions with evidence. And welcome to Trustee-elect very soon. Venegas, welcome. You ran an incredible campaign, a positive campaign, and an inspiring one. And I cannot wait to get to work with you. So congratulations to you. And I will save my comments for Superintendent Luna for her resolution that we will be talking about later tonight, but I do have some comments, of course, for her as well. Thanks.
Trustee Wong.
Well, I am an emotional, a little bit of emotional night tonight. President Jackson, I actually want to take a moment to thank you for your contribution, commitment, and service to the board. I'm actually very blessed to have actually been exposed to your deep passion for service, even before you were elected, when you would often pull me aside at 5 a.m. in the morning, yes, 5 a.m. in the morning, in the middle of a work at circuit to share with me your thoughts on how we could improve education writ large. But seriously, I've been honored to have served alongside you these last 2 years, and I'm grateful for your leadership, your thoughtful and intentional fight for what is just and what is right for the kids in our community. In these last 2 years, we have been able to further our march towards educational equity, recognizing that we needed to dig deeper into the institutional bias and racism inherent in its design. We're able to make investments and policy decisions that further this work to unpack the policies and practices that marginalizes our Black and Brown students. And it should be noted that for the first time in the history of West Sacramento, the very first time, the perspective of Black males was represented in local elected leadership. Even though our education system had been established for more than 100 years. We were established in 1917, and it took that long to have your voice represented. And for that, I am so deeply grateful for the doors that you have opened for others behind you. You have shown us what it means to set aside politics and ego and to simply do what is right for the betterment of our students and our community. You have shown us that it is truly the content of your character that has shown us how to lead with grace, humility, and inclusion. And for that, President Jackson, I thank you. I also want to take a moment to thank our entire community of West Sacramento for believing in our board and supporting us to move forward an equity-focused agenda with the overwhelming support of Measure Z, our equity facilities bond, garnering the largest number of votes in our history for anything on the ballot. I, for one, am humbled by your trust and support, and I'm grateful to be serving on the board for 4 more years alongside my fellow trustees. And welcome, Trustee-elect Venegas. As a refugee kid, born in Guam after the Vietnam War, being in this position to serve a second term, I have my parents' and ancestors' dreams fulfilled. They risked our lives to come here and be part of this democracy. And I hope to always honor that sacrifice. They taught me to lead with integrity, transparency, to be impeccable with my word, and to always root myself in our core values, where family and community always comes first. I'm looking forward to having my family swear me in to honor that history and share this legacy with my children. I will reserve my comments as Clerk Kirby Gonzalez did for Superintendent at the resolution. Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you for those. I want to thank my fellow trustees for those kind words. I think it was interesting because just yesterday, on my Facebook feed, it popped up the photo from 2 years ago from when I was sworn in that we took with my entire family, literally my entire family, my wife, my kids, my mom, my dad, my stepmom, my sister, my nephew. We're all there in attendance, and it's hard to believe that that was literally 2 years ago, and a lot has happened since then. I'll be honest with you. When I remember, God, it must have been 3 years ago when Jackie and I were having one of our 5 a.m. conversations and tossed about the idea of me possibly running for school board. And at that time, I literally had no idea what the heck I was getting myself into. And I remember when I made the decision to run, my wife and I, we talked about it, and it was literally the two of us trying to figure out how to do this thing throughout our entire campaign. But yet and still, with that flying by the seat of our pants, we got it figured out, and I think we pulled off quite the improbable win 2 years ago. Now, here we are 2 years later, and a lot has happened. I believe we've done a lot of really good work here in the last 2 years. Work that needs to, has to, and must continue. I know some folks have noticed in the last couple of months that, especially in the COVID period, that my dress has become a little bit more casual, to say the least, and a little bit more political in terms of my attire. And I have to say, It has been 100% deliberate. It's not by accident that I am wearing this t-shirt tonight. It is 100% deliberate. It is 100% intentional. And I would like to thank my alma mater, UC Davis, for taking the stance and issuing all the athletes in their athletic department this t-shirt. And I am extremely fortunate to have one myself, being the proud Davis alum that I am. And so, like I said, me wearing this shirt tonight is deliberate because after the death of George Floyd, earlier this spring, it made me realize something that Jackie has told me since the day that I decided to run and since the day that I won, which I did not realize the impact how important it was that I ran 2 years ago, and how important it was that I won 2 years ago. I wonder if I don't run 2 years ago, does Dante Early run for city council and lose a very close bid? I wonder if I didn't run 2 years ago, would we have found such an amazing replacement for Superintendent Luna and Dr. Hildreth? We'll never know. But with that just being a possibility, I can tell you what, I'm damn sure glad I ran 2 years ago. Because we have found, and because of the work that we've been able to accomplish in the last 2 years, the things that we have started, and like I said, the things that must go on and the things that must continue in terms of equity, in terms of inclusion in this district, is just only beginning, and it cannot stop. But the thing is this is work that cannot be done by one person. It has to be done by everyone. It has to be done by this board. It has to be done by our teachers. It is work that has to be done by our community. Because if we don't, there's no telling where we will be. And now's the time for people not to just talk about equity, not to talk about inclusion, not to talk about doing what's in the best interest of our kids. The time is, so don't talk about it, be about it. Put your money where your mouth is and get the work done. As I told someone earlier today, my biggest regret is that I believe so strongly in the work that we've done in this district in terms of equity, and it worries me. And I'm truly afraid that I feel that there is a lot of unfinished business, that needs to be taken care of, and things that need to happen in this district. And I just hope that the folks remaining on the board realize that importance and realize how important it is for all of our kids to continue that work. Superintendent Luna, boy, I can tell you, I remember when I sat in your office about 2.5 years ago, as I was considering running, and as you were sitting, taking time out of your day and meeting with all the different candidates, And I'll be honest with you, I didn't know quite what to think. I had heard some things, I had my own opinions, but I am so glad that I've gotten this opportunity to get to know you over the last 2 years. I cannot tell you how much I respect you, how much I respect your passion for education, how much I respect your commitment to our kids, and how much I appreciate the work you have done for the kids in this district. I remember 5 years ago, which would have been about the time just before you got here, my wife and I, we were considering, when we were thinking about, well, where we're going to send our kids for kindergarten. We had no idea. And it definitely wasn't going to be in this district, because at the time it was not a place that we felt that our kids would be safe. And so I appreciate the work that you've done, because you know what? Us sending our kids to our neighborhood school has turned out to be the absolute best decision that we've ever made. And that is because of the work that you have done to really turn this district around and to put this district in a position where we have the opportunity to hire such a phenomenal replacement for you. Not that she can fill your shoes, but she can definitely put some bling on it and make those bad boys look better than they ever have in Dr. Hildreth. So I thank you for that, because honestly, I don't know if you weren't the superintendent 5 years ago, I don't know if my kids would be in this district right now. And to Dr. Hildreth, I cannot tell you how much and how excited I am to have a person of your educational quality to be willing to come into this district and say, let me be your leader. If people truly knew the type of work you have done, they would be as excited as I am. And I am so grateful that you decided to take over and to fill the role that Superintendent Luna is vacating, because I think with your leadership, you are just going to be able to take this district and truly make it into the best district in Northern California, if not the entire state of California. And I am absolutely excited beyond belief as to see where this district is going to be over the next few years under your leadership. But it's only because of the leadership of Superintendent Luna that she's made your job a lot easier than it would have been otherwise. And so I thank you for being here. I thank you for believing in this district. I thank you for believing in this community. And I am so excited to have you here to represent us and to take us to higher heights and to build upon the work that Superintendent Luna has done. So thank you very much for being here. I can't tell you how excited it makes me. And if there's one person, as sad as I am to be leaving the board, I can tell you this, that if I have to leave the board, because I've told many people this, if I have to be leaving the board, I can't think of another person who I would be rather giving my seat to than Alvaro Venegas. This man's passion for kids, this man's commitment, his dedication in terms of making kids better, to help kids see the best in themselves and then help inspire them to become the best version of themselves is unbelievable. And so if I have to step down and give this seat, not give, but the gift for the person who won this seat in a very close election, I cannot be happier than to hand that over to you, Al. I'm very excited as well to see the things that you are going to do and how you're going to lead this district from this position as much as you have from your position as a community leader, motivational speaker in the community at large. So although I will miss being on the board. For now, I look forward to watching and observing from afar. And who knows? This probably isn't the last you've seen of me. But I thank my trustees for your friendship, your commitment over the last 2 years. And now's the time not to talk about it, but to be about it. And with that, we will go ahead and we'll move on to our oath of offices. And start off with Vice President Pizzati and his oath of office.
Trustee Pizzati,
Hang on a
if you
second,
will
let me
raise
wait
your
for
right
my
hand.
wife and daughter to come by right here.
Okay.
Oh, you can't really see my daughter. Here she is.
Wait.
Here.
No,
You-
I'll
no.
have on couch.
Just let me know when you're ready.
Okay, let's
I'm
see.
too
Come on over there. Here we go. All right, thank you. Okay, we're ready.
Trustee Pizzati, if you will repeat after me. I, Kobe Pizzati, do solemnly swear
I, Kobe Pizzati, do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California
the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California,
to the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I will take this obligation freely
that I will take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully discharge
and that I will well and faithfully discharge
the duties upon which I am about to enter.
the duties upon which I am about to enter.
Congratulations, Trustee Pizzati.
Thank you, Superintendent Luna. I appreciate that.
Congratulations, Kobe. Okay, we will move on to the oath of office for Alvaro Venegas, administered by Isaiah Jacinto Venegas.
I, Alvaro Venegas, do solemnly swear
I, Alvaro Venegas, do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California
the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear truth, faith, and allegiance
that I will bear truth, faith, and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California,
the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I will take this obligation freely
that I will take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
and that I will and that I will well and faithfully discharge
that I will well and faithfully discharge
the duties upon which I am about to enter.
the duties upon which I'm about to enter. Good job, Isaiah. You did great. I love it.
Congratulations, Al.
Good job.
Congratulations, Al.
Thank you.
President Jackson, I'm so sorry to see you go, sir. It is now time for Trustee Jackie Tuong Wan to have the oath of office administered by Dr. Tien Trong Vu, Genevieve Tan Mai Vong, Kennedy Tang, sorry,
Tang Mai Wang.
Tang, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry, Jackie. Kennedy Tang Zuan,
Tang
that it?
Swan. Tang Swan.
Tang Swang Wong. I'm sorry. Oh, looks like somebody done up their their background just as well. Okay, so take it away.
I am Dr. Tien Trong Vu, father of Jacqueline Thu Hương. Oath of allegiance. I, Jacqueline Thu Hương Quang, do solemnly swear
I, Jacqueline Tu Hung Wang, do so solemnly swear
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of California
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I bear true faith and allegiance
that to the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California,
to the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of California,
that I will take this obligation freely without
That I-
any mental, that I will
Right.
take this obligation freely
that I will take
Go
this
ahead.
obligation freely and without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
of evasion, that I will well and faithfully discharge the duty
And that I-
upon
and that I
upon
will
which
well and faithfully discharge
the duty upon which I am about to enter.
the duties upon which I am about to enter.
That's it.
Thank you, Dad.
Yay!
Yay!
Hey.
Cảm ơn bố nha.
Congratulations,
Cảm ơn bố
Trustee Wong.
nhiều. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Can I change now? 'Cause this
Okay. Announcement of items to be discussed in closed session. G1, Government Code Section 54956.9D2, potential litigation conference with legal counsel, one case. And we will see you in the closed session meeting.
Vice President Pizzotti.
He's already left the meeting.
Yorgos, are there any public comments for closed session?
I have 0 requests for closed session.
Okay, thank you very much.
Oh, you need to go to closed session.
Okay. Let's see, is Trustee Venegas here? There he is. All right. Okay, so announcement in closed session, items that we're discussing closed session. G1 Government Code Section 54956.9. D2 potential litigation, conference with legal counsel, one case, information received. F, that was public comments on closed session items. Okay, closed session reconvene. Roll call. Trustee Venegas.
Present.
Trustee Wong.
Present.
Clerk Kirby Gonzalez.
Here.
And I am here. I already did the information received. Okay. Action is approval of the agenda. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
I move.
I'll
Jackie
second.
moves. Sarah seconds. This is a roll call vote. Let's go Trustee Venegas.
I'm yes.
Trustee Wong.
Aye.
Clerk Kirby Gonzalez.
Aye.
And I too vote aye. That's 4-0. Okay, public comments. Are there any public comments just in general? Yorgos.
Yes, Trustee Pizzotti, we have one general public comment from Tiffany McFadden. Tiffany, your microphone is on and you may begin.
Hang on, Tiffany, let me read the admonishment real quick. Members of the public may address the board on topics that are under the jurisdiction of the board and are not on the agenda, although the board, by law, may not take action at this meeting. The board may limit the total time for public input on any topic to 20 minutes unless it chooses to waive the item limit for a particular item. The board respects the rights of members of the public to speak to us regarding matters on the agenda and other matters within the jurisdiction of the board. However, it is important for members of the public to recognize that comments regarding students other than the speaker's own children made during a public board meeting may be legally actionable as a violation of student privacy. Public comments consisting of individual charges, complaints, or derogatory remarks about any district employee are requested to be submitted in writing to the administration in accordance with the district's complaint procedure. Furthermore, it is important for the public to understand that negative or derogatory comments made against the district employees or others, even those made in a public board meeting, may be actionable civil defamation. And with that, go ahead, Tiffany.
Thank you. Good evening to the board, superintendent, and cabinet. I would like to congratulate Alvaro Venegas as the newest member of the WUSC governing board. I'm excited about the energy and perspective that Al will bring to our board. I also want to thank President Jackson for his service on the board, as well as former trustee Norma Alcala for everything that she did for this district during her long tenure on the board. I wish both of you the best in your future endeavors. To Superintendent Linda Luna, I know I have recognized you previously, so tonight I'll just say that I hope you enjoy your retirement. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Moving down to M, resolution number 2021-23, recognizing Linda C. Luna for her 5 years of service as the superintendent of Washington Unified School District and 37 years of service in education. This is where Superintendent Luna gets to make her final comments.
Vice President Pizzotti, do you want to go ahead and pass the resolution first?
Yeah, we should do that. Let me pull it up real quick. You know what? Believe it or not, I don't have the resolution.
Did you want me to pull it up, Vice
Do you
President
have it?
Pizzotti?
I'm looking at agenda online and I don't have it online.
It's not uploaded.
Oh,
But I'm
okay.
happy.
Yeah,
I'm happy
please.
to
Please
read
go ahead.
it once I. Okay.
Top secret.
It is top. It was top secret. So.
Very top secret.
So before we vote on it, let me read it. So let me just make sure. So resolution number 2021-23, recognizing Linda C. Luna for 5 years of service as the superintendent of Washington Unified School District and 37 years of service in education. Whereas Linda C. Luna was appointed as superintendent of the Washington Unified School District in July of 2015 and will retire as of January 1st, 2021. And whereas Linda has served as an inspirational leader and advocate, ensuring all students from transitional kindergarten through high school are inspired, motivated, and better prepared for success in the 21st century careers and college. And whereas Linda's thoughtful, strategic, and inclusive leadership has ushered in new curriculum and resources for students to meet and exceed standards, alternative and choice programs, new district-wide leadership with vision and passion for leading schools, visual and performing arts beginning in kindergarten, feeding into the high school, and stronger partnerships with local and regional partners. And whereas Linda has strengthened the district's focus on college and career readiness by partnering with the West Sacramento Home Run Initiative and streamlining student access to AVID, MESA, VAPA, AP courses and exams, A through G courses, foreign languages, language development, and robotics and technologies opportunities across grade levels. And whereas Linda's expertise and passion for music has been a driving force in expanding musical enrichment programs in every district she has ever served, and has created opportunities for students to have a chance to experience the benefits of music through their educational careers. And whereas Linda has led the district through the expansion of more robust educational opportunities, such as the establishment of the Spanish dual immersion program at Elkhorn Village School, preparing students for the seal of biliteracy, and through the formation of the Washington Middle College High School, where students go to high school and attend community college for free at the Sac City Community College West Sac campus to obtain a high school diploma and community college credit towards an associate's degree. And whereas Linda has rekindled the district's investment in every employee to receive professional development to grow and improve their work to better support the needs of all students. And whereas Linda's hyper focus on school safety and creating a positive school culture has reprioritized the district's resources, ensuring all schools and facilities are conducive for learning and represent the utmost professionalism and positive culture for students and families. And whereas Linda's tireless commitment to strengthening parent and community partnerships is unrivaled in the history of Washington Unified School District, setting a new precedent for consistent and transparent communications and creating opportunities for parents to engage meaningfully and partner with schools, as well as developing programs like Principal Coffees, Coffee with the Superintendent, and Town Hall forums. And whereas Linda's unwavering commitment served as a catalyst for the cultural, systemic, and organizational transformation of Washington Unified School District through the lens of equity and a renewed sense of urgency to deepen the district's commitment to fulfilling its mission statement and truly becoming the gateway to extraordinary possibilities. And whereas Linda has served the community admirably through ethical, collaborative, and visible leadership while implementing a vision focused on placing students first and affirming all staff in a climate of trust and respect. And whereas Linda is a proven leader who has always kept kids at the center of the Washington Unified School District's governance team, and her leadership has helped to make our district a premier place to educate and raise children. And whereas she is a champion of children and has played a vital role in moving forward WSD's equity work to ensure that children have what they need to learn, grow, and thrive. Therefore, it be resolved that the Washington Unified School Board recognizes Linda C. Luna for her enormous contributions to the Washington Unified School District, the city of West Sacramento, 37 years of service in education, and wishes Linda health and happiness in retirement. passed and adopted by the Washington Unified School District Board of Education on this 15th day of December, 2020.
And with that, I'm going to move. Is somebody would like to second?
Second.
Trustee Kirby Gonzalez, or Clerk Kirby Gonzalez seconds. This will be a roll call vote. Clerk Kirby Gonzalez.
Aye.
Trustee Wong.
Aye.
Trustee Venegas.
Aye.
And I too vote aye. It's heartbreaking. It's your. With that, before we go to the superintendent's comments, would any member of the board like to say something? Because I know there was two that said they would like to say something, say a few words earlier.
I was going to go after, but I can go first.
Okay. Do you want to go after? Do you guys want to do
Would
that?
you like to go now, Superintendent Luna?
I'm totally good with going now. I'll give a heads up to the board. This is a much more robust update. I don't really want to focus on just me. It's a little uncomfortable, but thank you so much for those very kind words and for that particular resolution. What I would like to do is walk through all that we have accomplished with the governing board in our time together of service to our students in West Sacramento and to Washington Unified School District. But before I begin, I would be remiss if I did not make comments of gratitude and thank board member Norma Alcala. As Norma was she was my original board member hiring me and came to my former district to find out more about me. And I will always be grateful for all that she did in supporting me. President Jackson, I see that you're still on, but Preston, I just wanted you to know that you'll be receiving this in the mail. It is your gavel for your service as board president. And also your time of service to Washington Unified School District as a trustee. So thank you also for that. Okay, now let's take our journey. I'll try to not be too long here. When I first started, I heard a lot of stories about Washington Unified. And as I went out to the community, I would take a book with me. It was a book of open pages. And what I would tell our community is, I can already see that Washington Unified School District is different than the stories that have been told over and over again. And really, this is the opportunity in our time, starting with July 1st, 2015, that we get to now write a new story, which is why the pages were blank, because it really is up to us to create our own story and to create our future of what is to be and the possibilities for our kids. So here's what we created in these pages that are very filled now for our book of Washington Unified. The Board of Trustees started with a strategic plan, which sunsets this spring. In the strategic plan, 6 strategies were our focus for 5 years. So what I'd like to do on this journey is look at what the board has accomplished under these 6 strategies of the betterment of Washington Unified School District for our children, for our families, and for our staff. Yorgos, we can go ahead and go to the next slide. Thank you. And the next one. So the first thing is that the board is known in Washington Unified for governing through the lens of equity. And that is something that is always talked about, but very few boards actually live it. And we have been living that. We have demonstrated many changes and transformation because of leading through the lens of equity. We also talked about the difference of equality and equity, and what I would now challenge Washington Unified School District to continue doing that the board started is continue to remove the barriers that have taken away the equitable access and opportunities for all our students. So instead of talking about equity, let's just remove those barriers and continue making opportunities for our kids. So that said, let's take a look at some of the strategies. And I want to give a shout out to Yorgos. He's trying to filter through as we move along. So one thing I wanted to show the board, because this was put to me in my first year, is Linda, we need more diversity in our leadership. And I think that Associate Superintendent Gonzalez can talk a little bit more about the district overall in terms of our teaching staff and our classified staff. But when I first came on board, the leadership did not represent our children. So our students, you can see what our student demographics are in terms of ethnicity identification. In July 2015, going across the board there, you can see what our district administration represented. Today, we have made quite a few changes in terms of hiring leadership that represents our children so that the children see themselves in leadership. And that is a continued journey. I think our district needs to continue in all levels of the district. But this is what was charged to me, and we have made a significant difference over the past 5 years. I want to thank also the citizens of West Sacramento, as Trustee Wong had mentioned. One of the questions of equity came to the board at a board meeting, and you kindly allowed me to ask this question. Why do our most impoverished students and families go to our most dilapidated schools? Because if we can answer that with a good question, with a good answer, then we don't need to address it. But we all know that there is no good answer except to change it. And I want to thank the board for taking that step of faith to reach out to the community under the lens of equity, that all of our students deserve a high standard of a learning environment, no matter what school they attend. The board also entered into Masters of Governance, and Trustee Wong and former Trustee Alcala and I went through all 5 sessions and got certified. So again, there's another demonstration of leading through governance. I also want to thank Trustees Kirby Gonzalez and Trustee Wong for their step of effort and faith in attending the CSBA Equity Network, which was highlighted at the CSBA conference. And also to the right there, you see a bunch of strangers at River City High School, because CSBA brought the Equity Network to River City High School, where other board members and other superintendents can hear the work of equity in Washington Unified. We also, one of the strategies we were going to address under the lens of equity is to ensure that we unify our community. We started the first African American Youth Leadership Conference in 2016, and it has been going annually with all of our not just African American students, but any students who could be more educated in other cultures and become inclusive into the African American community, and really honor and learn from one another. This Youth Leadership Conference has been doing that since 2016. We also want to show another way of unifying our community is that we continue to have strong partnerships with Concilio. in which they support college scholarships for first-generation students going to college in West Sacramento. As you know, we have started our journey in the transformative justice in education with UC Davis, of which it falls under the guise of professional practice, of how we as educators and the community of education learn together about the cultural diversity and the richness that it brings to our community in addressing what has been in place and how we improve for the betterment of humankind. I also want to give a shout out to our partners because we've worked hard to build bridges to our partners. Want to thank you, and we're going to go through these very, very quickly. We want to thank our West Sacramento Rotary Club, who every year honors our Students of the Year at every school. We also want to thank, if you recall, we built back a relationship with our West Sacramento Masons who annually give free bikes and helmets to all 5th grade students who have perfect attendance at their school. We have 2 students at every school who are awarded this through our partnership. We also have another partnership that we want to thank. We're just going to go ahead and keep going through the slides. We want to thank our PTOs. Our PTOs sponsor many parent and community events to help support our schools. This one was for Bridgeway Island, and our trustees, thank you for attending those at our schools. We also want to thank our partners. I'm waiting for my next slide here. In our city, our city council, and of course our Chamber of Commerce, of which we have been partners for over 20 years. We also want to thank our county partners. So Yolo County Office of Education under County Superintendent Garth Lewis, and of course we work very closely with Yolo County Health and Human Services. All of these partnerships have bettered our district, have improved the relationships for our families and our students to receive more services. Also want to highlight, we began Principal for a Day so that our community would know more about our district. Here you see our Executive Director of California School Boards Association, Vernon Billy, who even though CSBA is in West Sacramento, for the first time came and learned a little bit more about our schools. We also want to thank our Yolo County Children's Alliance because every year they sponsor our community giveaway for our families to directly receive not just food, but backpacks of supplies, clothing, blankets, toy drives, all of these things from our Yolo County Children's Alliance. I would be remiss if I did not mention the Sacramento City Community College, who started a new program with us in 2016 also, our Kinders Go to College program, where our kindergarten students from one school go to college for one full day at Sac City. I also want to acknowledge that we have partners that we have seen every year. We have partners that we've seen every year during a time of great sadness or tragedy. In our time, we have experienced deep loss, tragic loss of our children. And so I want to thank our chaplains and our Health and Human Services who come every single time our families or our students experience loss. This is an essential partnership in a broken time And we are grateful for these partnerships that serve our students and our families. So on a brighter note, we have had extraordinary opportunities for our students. We have opened the Bright campus through the efforts of Measure V. And in opening the Bright campus, you'll see now that it turned into a learning facility, state-of-the-art facility, better than community college campuses, where our students are able to engage in CTE pathways, but more importantly, bringing it to a time of service where our students have engaged in offering meals to our community to bring the community into our campus. We also have our fire department and our police department who have given our students the opportunities through these past years of public service in different academies during the summer. As mentioned before, we have opened up new opportunities for our students, which actually is a little bit more individualized for their interests. Choice is important, but the choice has to be within our own district so that we keep our families and our community together. I want to thank the board for the middle college high school step of faith. We started with 37 students. We are now at over 160 students in 3 years. We are projected to have close to 200 students next year. So by doing that, we have increased opportunities for our high school students. We also offer specialized programs. Over at Elkhorn School, I have loved seeing their Mesa Day, where UC Davis comes in and partners with our students who will become our future scientists. We've also developed different curriculum. In this particular instance, it's for guided reading because we've transformed what we have been doing from the past to intervening at an early age in guided reading. This is a little bit biased, I will agree, that in our visual and performing arts, when we put the strategy of bringing joy to the learning experiences, all of these performances show just that, sheer joy in learning and the love of learning through the arts. You will see our spectrum from kindergarten all the way up through 12th grade in dance, in band. In the next slide, moving forward, you're going to even see our thespians through theater arts. So we have grown the opportunities for our students to engage in a holistic education. We also want to give a shout out to our student athletes. Our athletic programs have grown quite a bit, but more importantly, what we want to make sure is we know the connection that athletics does connect our students to school. It does connect them to future opportunities. And each year we have a handful of students who sign for college scholarships and opportunities to go to college through athletics. In one of our strategies, we talked about unifying our community, and that was to bring in our parents into the part of education. We have had PK as our parent education program, and this is a picture of our last PK graduates in 2019. We acknowledged our California Partnership Academy at the last meeting, and on this particular strategy, our CTE programs provide the different opportunities for our students to apply their knowledge and experience to actual project-based types of learning, competitions, and projects. We also have classes that do extra activities in the area of science, where our schools have provided solar suitcases to third world countries so that these countries where these solar suitcases land, they are able to have electricity of science. I apologize if my internet is kind of slow here. I also want to acknowledge that in our River City High School, the courses of study have been reviewed. A shout out to Melissa Baldwin, who teaches the Women and Gender Studies course. It was new last year, and it was a hit because the students wanted it to be 2 terms of a class, and it was a great study. Of course, we have to mention our homecoming. When you have a comprehensive high school, homecoming is big, but we took it to a new level to establish a new tradition, and that is support our freshman homecoming game by creating a parade of mascots to get people there to support our freshman team. So each year we have a parade of mascots where our K-8 schools come to support the freshman homecoming, because it puts them on the River City campus to see what their future will be in coming to River City High School. And lastly, to see the graduations of our high school students is, we always cry at them. We cry at them because this is their journey that leads to another part of their life. With Yolo High School, River City High School, and now Washington Middle College. But in my last slide here, what I want to show you is we support all of our students. This is a student who received his diploma, even though being in the Cesar Chavez program here in Washington Unified. This is why we exist, to support the journeys of every student by their name and by their need. So my final words to the board would be this. We have come a long way in creating what is now history. Now we have to continue writing the pages of the book. You get to create the next part of the chapter Washington Unified can be. And your decisions as a board, your work with incoming Superintendent Hildreth is critical to creating that bright future for all of our students in Washington Unified. It has been my great honor, and I know I say that a lot, but it truly has been my great honor to be your superintendent. And I will always have Washington Unified School District a special place in my heart. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your comments, Superintendent Luna, but don't go anywhere because there are plenty more comments to come, I'm sure. So I wouldn't keep that camera off. Let's see, why don't I go to Trustee Wong? We can't hear you, Trustee Wong.
Superintendent Luna. What do I do when people don't mistake me for you now on campuses? So how do I get the intel on what's happening? First of all, I'm just so grateful and humbled to just have shared this part of your career journey. As a parent of a middle schooler, I have seen and experienced directly the impact of your transformational leadership. I've seen you lead us through some very challenging times and not so easy public forums and criticisms, and have seen you continue to hold on to our vision of educational excellence for all of our students. As others have said before, you managed what was not always an easy board with a few strong personalities here and there, me included. You survived, so many things. You survived contractual impasse, a board resignation, community tragedies of 2 of our WSD families, unspeakable tragedies, and most recently, a global pandemic impacting all facets of the educational system. And that has only been the 4 years that I was involved. You gave us such a stronger sense of community connectedness with our partners. You helped us through the establishment of district-based elections and equity-focused master facilities plan, wholeheartedly supported by the community, and expanded student support services network. The highest graduation rates that the district has seen in a long time, Linda. These are just a few things. And you laid the groundwork for the next level of our educational equity work. You, my friend, have moved, touched, and inspired the lives of many. I named many public-facing things, but it should be noted that it is the things that weren't public-facing that transformed this system, that transformed our system. There are long hours planning with staff, building relationships with people in the community and with every single person in this district, not just the students by name and by need, but our staff by name and by need. Identifying systems of inefficiencies, addressing all of our board concerns, managing expectations, and doing all of this from your heart was an amazing experience for me. You are a true servant leader, and I am so thankful that you have done what you have done and sacrificed for the community of West Sacramento. I leave you this quote because it makes me think about you, is that leadership is about making others better as a result of your presence and making sure that impact lasts in your absence. And that is what you have done for us. And I thank you, Linda.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Trustee Venegas, I know you haven't been on the board very long, but I'll give you the opportunity to go if you'd like.
Yes. Man, so many people say so many great things about you. It is great to know that, coming into Washington Unified, I've been part of West Sacramento for about 9 years now. And in the last 4 or 5 years, I've worked with the district and worked with the students and the families. And so many times people were like, do you know the superintendent? Like, you need to meet the superintendent? Like it kept coming up. And what an opportunity to now carry on, the legacy, the momentum, and know that I'm somebody that, even though I do not know you personally, and we haven't gotten to work together, what you've done for families and how families speak about you and how highly they, I've said this to some of the other board members, is when somebody mentions your name and there's a smile at the end of it, you've done it. You absolutely have done it. And that's the goal. I think that's the goal as a servant. That's the goal as a community leader, is to not only bring joy, but also be that beacon of hope. And you've done that. Know that anytime that I have a question or a doubt or a fear, I always think about the people who sacrificed before me in order for me just to be in the opportunity to feel the fear or to feel lost. I truly believe that that's an opportunity, and I truly thank you for your sacrifice, for your service, and for all the successes that you've left us with. And I'm honored to continue the legacy and the momentum moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Trustee Venegas, and all the best to you as you begin your journey.
Okay, Clerk Kirby Gonzalez, your turn.
Thank you. Last time I started to do this, I cried. And so it is, I'm going to hold it together this time around, though. I'm going to try. But thank you so much, Superintendent Luna, for that application that you put in 5 years ago, because you put it in right when we needed you in Washington Unified at exactly the right time. You were exactly the right person. And so I'll give a shout out to my colleagues that were on the board at the time as well: Katie Villegas, Mary Leland, Alicia Cruz, of course, Norma Acala. And we were an all-woman board at the time. and so grateful, but I'm glad to have men as well. But so grateful to hire you and to bring you on. And I know with Washington Unified, the struggles that we faced before that you came. And I appreciate that you've always honored and celebrated the past and where we have come from as we work to grow and to better ourselves. And as Chloe said, I asked Chloe to write, my 6-year-old, to write what she thought about Superintendent Luna, her card. And she simply wrote, "I love you, Superintendent Linda Luna, because you are nice." And you are nice, but you are also strong, a powerful role model for my girls and for all of our students of Washington Unified. And whether you are knocking it out of the park at a county superintendent forum and nobody wants to follow you, or we're walking school sites and a substitute is struggling and you step in to pull some children aside to work out a problem. Or if we're walking grounds and one of the groundskeeper comes up and you just give each other a great big hug. Thanks for all you do. You have a pulse of this community that we've needed. And you brought in voices that hadn't been heard enough. And so our families, our students, our student voices, our most honest critics, and of course, all of the partners that you mentioned in your presentation. So thank you for putting together that beautiful presentation. And it does take an entire village of all of our families, of all of our staff, our hardworking, incredible staff, and kids and business leaders and Rotary, but you were the glue that brought everyone together. And so thank you so much for that as a mom and as a trustee and as an educator. You make us all better. And it has been an honor and a privilege to work with you and to know you. And I promise you, and I'm committed, and I know this board is, that we will continue the hard work and the important work and the momentum moving forward. But what a blessing we've had, and enjoy. I know you're going to keep learning and I know you're going to keep working, but enjoy a little bit of a breather in between, because you have earned it and you've done good. Thank you.
Well, I already said my piece, but I'm gonna add a couple of more words, just because you're such a dear, sweet friend of mine, and I just can't thank you enough for everything that you've done. I remember some of our earliest conversations and how candid and frank they were about what this district was facing, and some of the when you were first coming on, within your first 6 months, you would unturn one rock and find a fire, and then unturn another rock, and there'd be another and another. And it felt like that went on for 2 years. And it kept going and going. And it felt like you didn't have the opportunity to implement the vision that you wanted for this district until maybe, 3 years into your your stint as superintendent. Because there was one fire after the other, one tragedy after the other, and just a constant barrage of protocols and processes and systems that needed to be adopted in order for Dr. Hildreth to be successful. And that was all because of you. You found every last stone and you put out those fires. And I just can't tell you how important that was. That's leading up to the success for someone else to come in behind you. Unfortunately, it didn't give you enough time to get more things going that I'm sure you wanted to do. But as we saw by your presentation, you did a ton. You did an absolute ton while you were here. And I just know that your vision is so strong and powerful that you would have kept on going and going and going. And it just, at some point, you do have to retire. You get tired and you need rest and you need time with your family. And I get it. I totally understand. I just wish we didn't have to let go.
Well,
I just want to say
Vice President,
thank you. So go ahead, Superintendent Luna.
well, thank you for all of you. Thank you so much for your very, very kind words. But I will end this part of the agenda with this. You see names across our Zoom meeting here. You see names because it wasn't me. It was our staff. It was people like Norma Gonzalez, Stan Moisich, Andre Phillips, Matt Ainsworth, Jay Burns, Carrie Pena, Terry Souza, Kylie Lane, Stephanie Grote. I'm afraid I'm going to forget somebody. Brian Briggs, now in technology. There are so many people that are lifting for Washington Unified, and they choose to stay here. They choose to stay here because they believe, and they love this district. And so it is not me that did that work. It was us, it was the board, it was the staff. And there are many more staff that are not here tonight that are responsible for many of these things to be accomplished. So while those kind words are for me, I appreciate it so much. But a superintendent is nothing without the support of a board and without a great team. And I think that is probably going to be the thing I miss the most is my team. And not the work per se, because the work is the work, but it's people, the people who are in this because they love it and because they love our children. So thank you again for everything. And I'm very appreciative of this time. And it is a tender time for me. But my husband is just elated that after this evening, he's going to be seeing me a lot more. So I think he's elated, maybe not, I don't know. Maybe he'll send me to your board meetings and make public comments, I don't know. But anyway, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you.
Thank you, Superintendent Luna. We appreciate you so much. Thank you so much.
Vice President Pisati, was there any public comments? Actually, I realized we didn't open it up for others who may put anything.
I was thinking about that as well. I didn't receive any public comments on this. I was going to actually open it up to the rest of the panelists if they wanted to say something. But I know that there is also a Zoom luncheon for Superintendent Luna, in which they'll have the opportunity to do that. But that is a good point. I was thinking about that as well. If there are members of the public that would like to make a comment on this, let's give it a quick second. I know one member already spoke earlier. I see only 5 attendees in the public, so. Okay, hearing none, we will move on. Let's see. N is 2021 reorganization of the Washington Unified School District Board of Education. N1, the selection of officers for 2021, president, vice president, and clerk. As a part of the reorganization meeting, the governing board will choose officers of the Board of Education for 2020-21 year. The appointment of officers of the past year include, past years, okay. So are there any nominations for the position of president?
I would like to make a nomination.
For
I would like to
Gonzalez.
Thank you. I would like to nominate Vice President Kobe Pizzati to president. While all of our voices are equal in this virtual dais, there is no doubt that having the honor of the being president is an honor. And it's an honor that I've had, and also Trustee Wong. And Vice President Pizzati has waited patiently. He served as board vice president for 3 terms, and it is my honor to nominate him as board president.
Thank you, Clerk Kirby Gonzalez. I accept your nomination. Are there any other nominations?
I'd like to nominate Jackie Wong for president. You know, I believe that seeing the climate in which we are in, I think you know, I know I've spoken with you, Kobe, and now Sarah, I haven't gotten to know you as much, but looking forward to building a strong relationship. I would love to see a duo of presidency and vice presidency with you two. I know that's not what we're speaking about, but I would be comfortable, and I would be excited and enthusiastic about being led with you two. So I wanted to nominate Jackie Wong for president.
I accept.
Okay. So we have 2. This will be interesting. Okay, so I'm going to take the first nomination. We'll do a roll call vote. Clerk Kirby Gonzalez.
Aye.
Trustee Venegas.
So just to be clear, this is a vote on.
This
On
is
which
on a
candidate?
vote on, it's for the first nomination, which was me as president.
Okay, and and you have to excuse me, but if it's not I, then it is
A no, or abstain.
Or an abstention.
Yeah.
no.
And Trustee Wong.
No.
The second nomination for Jackie Wong, we'll go with Clerk Kirby Gonzalez.
No.
Trustee Venegas.
Aye.
And Trustee Wong.
Aye.
And I vote no. So we are at a deadlock. Okay. Not sure how this plays out, but I guess we can take a nomination again, or I would offer this suggestion. Since we have a current vice president, that why don't we wait until the board member is appointed to make the final vote, so that there will be an odd number on the board to cast that final vote on who will be serving as president. Right now, we could have an acting person as president be the vice president until that time. Is that a compromise that's reasonable?
I know that legal counsel popped on for a second. I don't know if there's a timeline requirement or the legal kind of parameters around that. So I'd like to ask legal counsel on clarification on, because I know that we discussed last time that the laws changed around this. So that's why we're having it now. So just wanted to be clear about timelines.
Good evening, trustees. The law did change as to when we would have the organizational meeting, but the underlying law in the education code has not changed. So there are two sections of the ed code, and I know you probably don't care what the numbers are, but the one I'm looking at right now is—
I care. I always care.
Is 35022, and it's very short, so I'm going to read it to the board. It says, every school district governing board consisting of 5 or more members shall, at its initial meeting, which with this is not, you've had meetings for years now, and at each annual meeting, elect a president from amongst its members. And this is under the law considered the annual organizational meeting under Education Code 35143. So both the law, both the ed code and your board bylaw, which is 9100, say that the board shall elect a president tonight. But because there are 4 board members at this point, you still need 3 board members to make any motion pass.
Okay, so let's try that again. Since both nominations have failed, I'll open it up for nomination again. Is there any nominations for board president?
I nominate Jackie Wong.
I accept.
Okay, are there any other nominations?
I nominate Vice President Kobe Pizzotti.
And I accept. Guess we can do this all night. Okay, we'll go for the first nomination, which is Trustee Wong. All those in favor of Trustee, well, I shouldn't do that. We got to do a roll call vote. We'll go since Trustee Venegas, you nominated. We'll start with you.
Aye.
Trustee Wong.
Aye.
Clerk Kirby Gonzalez.
No.
And I too vote. Now for—
Are we able to call for discussion before our next vote?
Since we didn't do it on the last vote, so maybe on the third round of balloting, we can try that if it goes that way. Since that nomination failed, let's go to the second nomination. Since Clerk Kirby Gonzalez, you made the nomination. Go ahead, we'll start with you.
Aye.
I too vote aye. Trustee Wong.
Clarification, that second vote of—
Says on my nomination, yes.
No.
Trustee Venegas.
No.
Okay. Guess
So
we'll be here all night.
bring back our discussion, and that is that this is a board that has had a rotating presidency, and I have had the honor of being board president, and Trustee Wong has had the honor of being board president, and Trustee Pizzotti has been denied that opportunity, and he has been vice president 3 times. And we all have different styles. We all have different ways we lead, but that is the way that this board has operated. And I stand firm by that tonight. And I feel that he has rightfully earned his time to be president.
Thank you for that, Clerk Kirby Gonzalez. I appreciate it. Did Trustee Venegas, did you want to say something? Since you made the last nomination.
I mean, I'm happy to also share is that I think this is a unique time in terms of equity and as one of those champions for equity and transition. I know that I will lead differently, right? And granted, we all have different styles, but there is a voice in this transition and the work that we need to move forward. And hearing President Jackson extremely clearly about the critical work before us, engaging us deeply in that work. And although just because you're a VP doesn't always mean that you've been president, that has not been the course of things. A couple times now, right? With at least 2 presidencies that I've been on the board with. So that's being a VP doesn't necessarily transition you to presidency. And I think for me, I understand very, very deeply when I was, this was suggested to me about where I think leadership on this board needs to be during this time, during this moment, after laying that groundwork. And I was humbled by it, quite frankly, right? Having been an educational equity for all of my career, that I understand very deeply why that request was asked of me. And it's not about a power thing. It's not about a political thing. It's about my why.
Well, that's fair, and I understand that as well. And I certainly, by all means, this discussion that we've had, this is still our family, and I want to make that very clear. And I will always think of this board as my family, and I in no way think of this vote in any other way than everybody has their why. My why has always been my story, and it's been where I came from. And I know Trustee Venegas, you don't know my story. You don't know what led me to run or why I'm here. But my upbringing has been one of a lot of struggle. My parents divorced when I was 2 years old, and I grew up with a single mother on welfare and who became a drug addict by the time I was 8 years old. And this is the story that many of the children in our community see and feel and recognize in their parents. Also, I have dyslexia that went undiagnosed until I finally got into college. And my daughter has ADHD, and this is something that I see and deal with every day. And it's been my why, is helping kids, have a voice with developmental disabilities and learning disabilities, as I work with nurses that interact and treat patients and individuals with developmental and learning disabilities. So that has been my why. And I too, like Trustee Wong, have gone down this journey of equity and have been learning. And I may not be able to live it because I don't look like a person of color. I just am not going to see all of the things that somebody who's experienced that sees. And I understand that. I totally understand that. But there's no one that's going to fight harder and to be more vigilant for what I see as inequity. I believe that people cannot understand what I've lived through. There's nobody on the board that I know of that has grown up the way I've grown up and has struggled from meal to meal with, drug addiction from their parents' standpoint. So I have my why as well. And it's something that our kids face every day. And I think everybody's perspective is valid. And, you know, I certainly don't begrudge anybody for their votes on this, and I understand why.
No, thank you. Thank you. If I may say something, man, Kobe, I've got love for you. I've got love for you. You know I do. Sarah, and I'm really just letting you all know that you guys are speaking about the why and why I wanted to nominate Jackie. I'm like, Kobe, like, you know, I've got, you were one of the first people that I spoke with, man, when all this was going down. You reached out and you know, via phone. It was quick. And you know, right now I have to say that the reason, the biggest why, and I'm not going to speak about my why because I believe everybody will get to know that as time goes on, but thank you for sharing your why. And my why for electing or for nominating Jackie Wong is because I believe what the community needs right now is, and this is only based off of what the 10 weeks that I've campaigned, as well as the 4 years that I've worked with the district. People mentioning Jackie Wong's name without knowing, you know, who this individual was, as somebody that they were excited about, as somebody that they admire, which, by the way, this community loves the board, as far as what I'm hearing, right? So I you know, they're excited about the board, I should say. And you know, in my election, I know that, or my campaign, I know that I ran in area 2, but I was delivering signs up, and even on Southport, you'll see some of the signs because of the magnitude of how much, you know, people were truly excited to just be a part of this, you know, positive direction in movement. And, you know, I've got nothing against anybody on here, and it's just, you know, the day one, this is a you know, already a tough decision. But I want to be transparent in saying that I would not only be enthusiastic, but I would be a fan of seeing Jackie and Kobe leading, especially with a new superintendent coming in, and just a new mayor. Like we're seeing all these different leaders, and I just that's the biggest reason why is when certain names come up without you yourself name dropping, or you yourself intending for a certain name to come out, because I didn't know any of you personally. But I think that's just, it helps the community know, you know, that we're really looking to listen to them. And I'm just going off of my perspective in campaigning. You know, and that's the biggest reason why I wanted to nominate Jackie is when people mention people's names in conversation without my intent, and without knowing any of you personally. I don't think I've met any of you personally yet, or in person. That's the reason why my heart just says that, just because I was nominated or I was asked to run by people. My intent was never to run, and it was asked by parents. So I just kind of, my why is I have to be true to that. If the same people that found me are the same type of people that are mentioning the board's name and specifically Jackie, I have to stick to that, because if I, you know, if I didn't listen to them, I wouldn't have ran. But these are the same people, and that's just it. I'm a fan of everybody on here, and I would like to see and be led by Jackie and Kobe as VP. That's my personal take.
Wow. Can I just say, I'm floored, Al. Like thank you. You never know how you impact a community, especially on this board. And thank you for that. Thank you to whoever you spoke with. It means a lot.
So Marie, I don't know what to do now. Do you have any suggestions?
I've been doing this for 20 years. I've never had the situation arise.
Okay.
I do think you could come up with a short-term solution this evening and then revisit the issue later on when you have a full complement of board members. But you do need to leave here this evening, at least based on the education code sections, with somebody designated as the president.
Okay.
We can't change bylaws. We can't do 2 presidencies or co-presidency.
You could have there's nothing that says you can't have
a co-presidency,
because what your bylaw says, which is not exactly the same as what the education code says. Your bylaw says that at tonight's meeting, the board will elect a president and a clerk or a vice president from its members. So it doesn't prohibit any. I've never seen it done to have 2 presidents, but there's nothing in here that would prohibit that. The ed code call tonight really is about having a president when you leave, so that you have somebody who, is kind of in charge generally, and for the superintendent to rely on.
And I suggest a co-presidency.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. I was along those lines. I'm fine with that. I was trying to find common ground on something that we could do until an interim time period and until we get that 5th member of the board. So I think that sounds reasonable, and it sounds like a logical plan. And I would be okay with it. We would have to ask the rest of the board with that. So with that recommendation, I would move that Trustee Wong and I serve as co-president for an interim time period until we get a 5th member of the board appointed. Is there a second?
I can second.
There
I
you
mean,
go.
we'll take it though, but it's kind of weird. But
it's weird. I mean, if we're gonna be deadlocked, let's not be deadlocked. Let's just figure this out for tonight. Okay. So we have a motion and a second. I'll start with Trustee Venegas.
Aye.
Trustee Wong.
Aye.
Clerk Kirby Gonzalez.
No.
And I too will vote aye. Okay, so we have 2 presidents for right now. Let's move on to the nomination for vice president. I would like to, well, gosh,
So
I don't think
I'm
we
wondering if we
can
leave
do
it
that. I would do
open.
clerk.
Yeah,
we'd have to do clerk.
I'm wondering if we can leave it to Marie's coming back on. She's about to say something. So
Yeah, that was going to be my suggestion, that perhaps since the vice presidency is not required under the education code,
Right.
And your board policy is uses the conjunctions clerk and or vice president, you do not have to pick a vice president this evening if it's not the will of the board.
So we could do that at the next. Yeah, we could do down to clerk. Yeah. So we would go down to the next in line, which would be clerk.
can I nominate Al?
Sure, you can. Do you accept the nomination, Al?
Yes.
Okay. I will nominate Clerk Kirby Gonzalez again.
No,
Do you accept?
I'm not doing it.
Okay, okay,
Tired
there
of
we go.
politics. I
All right.
support.
Okay, there we go, Al. We're all good. Do we even need a vote on this? Because there was only one nomination? Okay, so we'll go roll call vote. Since you made the nomination, Trustee or President Wong, why don't we go ahead?
Aye.
Clerk Kirby Gonzalez. I too vote aye. Clerk Venegas.
Aye.
Okay, so we've got that taken care of. Now let's see. Do you have the committee assignments beside you, Jackie?
I do. I do.
Okay, so do I.
Co-President Pizzotti.
There you go. So let's just divvy these up one by one. Do you want to start?
Yolo County School Boards Association. Is there? That's who I have. That's the one that I have at the top of mine.
Yeah.
Does anybody want to be on the list for consideration for Yolo County School Boards Association?
I would like to be.
Okay, Al. Is there anybody who's interested in doing being an alternate or second to that?
I would be an alternate.
Okay. Is there anybody else who would like to be? Okay.
That's easy. Easy breezy lemon squeezy.
All right. I would say Clerk Al is primary and Trustee Kirby Gonzalez is alternate.
Okay. Now I'll take the next one.
Okay.
City 2x2 committee is me and co-president Wong. We are both on it. I would be willing to forego that seat if there's anybody who's interested in sitting in the 2x2s. Can we please let us be known? Do you want it, President Wong?
I think traditionally a president sits on it, so
Yeah.
I'm happy to stay.
Okay.
I would recommend that you both stay, just given the dynamics right now. That would be my thought. If not knowing what's happening moving forward with this being temporary.
Okay. I'm fine with it. That's fine. Yeah. I mean.
Shall we name it anybody
yeah,
interested
I was
in being
just
an
gonna say
alternate?
we need an alternate for that.
I'd like to be an alternate.
Okay.
Next, I'm happy to take it. So right now we have the county 2x2, and right now it was Preston Jackson and Trustee Kirby Gonzalez. Is there interest in being part of the county 2x2 committee? I would be interested just generally because I like mental health services and all that. But
I was just gonna say I would be interested as well. But if Trustee Kirby Gonzalez would like to do it, I would be more than happy to let that happen.
I'd like to stay on that. We've done a lot
Okay.
of good work, and I'd like to have the continuity.
Then I'd like to be an alternate on that.
okay. So
Okay, I'll take the next one. The Curriculum Advisory Committee is Preston Jackson and Sarah Kirby Gonzalez with me as an alternate. Let me just ask this. Sarah, do you still want to remain on the Curriculum Advisory Committee?
Usually I'm there because I'm always placed there. I'm happy to be there and to do the work, but if others want to do that,
Okay.
by all means.
Is there anybody else that would like to be on this?
I would say you're the teacher we put the teachers there the last time.
Right. We put the teachers on there. Let's see. Go ahead.
I'm happy to be an alternate, but I know that I'm also primary on policy committee already just because I'm the CSB delegate.
Right.
But I don't know if Clerk Venegas it's challenging with a body of 4, and I'm wondering if we leave some seats open for a new person to come in.
And I was thinking that as well. we don't know if the next person is going to be a teacher or not that might want to be on that. So I would say, why not leave the curriculum advisory committee as open, and we can fill it at the meeting with the 5 total trustees.
It's usually been a seat of 2, so I'm happy if you want to put me as 1 and then leave 1 open, so that if there is a meeting. I can't remember our next meeting date, but
okay, that sounds fair. Next, you.
So that's policy committee. That is the one, as we wrote into the subcommittee, that as long as I'm CSBA delegate, I will always be on. So
Yeah.
does it I'm happy to leave that, does anybody want to do policy and be with the policy wonk? Because, President Pizzotti knows how wonky I can get.
Yeah. I'd be willing to be an alternate on that one.
Okay.
Because I think this is another one we should probably leave open for, because we got to leave some seats available. And next one's the facilities, and I would like to be on that one. So with the facilities committee, it was me, Norma, with Preston as the alternate. I would like to remain on that committee. Who else would like to be on that committee?
I'd like to be on that committee.
Okay. Al, anybody else would like to be an alternate?
I'm happy to be an alternate.
Okay.
Because I remember, I think one time I was the alternate to the alternate to the alternate.
Right. Yes, I do recall that. So we've got the committees filled. Okay. Okay. Hello.
Co-President Pizzotti, because I'm taking the minutes right now, I just wanted to clarify on the curriculum advisory committee and the policy committee. Could you please clarify those appointments for me one more time?
Yes, the curriculum advisory committee was Trustee Kirby Gonzalez. And we left the seat open for the new appointed trustee. And the same with the policy committee. That would be Trustee Wong, or Co-President Wong. Co-President Wong, Madam President. Madam President Wong, and the open seat for the new trustee to be appointed.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Clarification on policy. President Pizzotti was an alternate for the, if you're taking notes, for the policy committee. Even though there's an open seat. There's an open seat, and then the alternate is President Pizzotti.
Right.
Thank you.
Okay. So we're moving on to action items. And this is 01, the process and timeline for the provisional appointment of a trustee vacancy. Let's see. Who is handling this? Is this Superintendent Luna or?
Co-President Pizzotti, I'm happy to introduce the agenda item. As you know, as the board knows, former trustee Norma Alcala was elected to the city council. Her official signed oath of office to the city council vacated her seat to the Washington Unified School District Governing Board. At the December 10th, 2020 regularly scheduled board meeting, the board took action, which was agenda item Q.5, discussion and action on options for the board member vacancy on the Washington Unified School District Board of Education, that the board voted unanimously to fill the vacancy on the governing board through a provisional appointment. The board also discussed and asked questions about the area in which the provisional appointment would be filled. Would the vacancy be filled in a provisional appointment with an at-large trustee area or in a designated trustee area, which currently trustee areas 1 or 5 are open? The board chose to discuss this further at this particular board meeting. And so that's where we're at for the board to further discuss and take action.
Okay. Thank you. Yorgos, is there any public comment on this item?
Yes, we have 2 public comment requests. The first one is from Tiffany McFadden. Tiffany, your microphone is on and you may begin.
Thank you, Yorgos. As I reviewed tonight's agenda, I was really shocked to see that Area 5 is now being considered for applications to fill the seat vacated by former trustee Norma Alcala. When it was discussed at the last board meeting, it was discussed that it should be by area from Area 1, as that's where trustee Alcala currently resides. For a board where equity is such a prominent focus, I find it incredibly inequitable to not fill the vacant seat with an applicant from Area 1. Whether they were voted in at large or by area, there is a current board member who lives in Area 5. We no longer have a single board member who lives in Area 1. The students and their families of Riverbank Elementary deserve to have representation, and they deserve to have someone who lives in their community representing them. Allowing applicants from outside of Area 1 may be within the rules, but morally and ethically, it is wrong. If you are going to allow someone outside of Area 1 to be considered for this seat, you can no longer call yourselves advocates of equity. I urge you to vote to only accept applicants from Area 1 as it is the most equitable, ethical, and moral decision. Additionally, I urge you to perform the interviews with the applicants during open session so the public can view these, just as it was done when Kobe Pizzati was first appointed to this board. Thank you.
Okay. Next we have.
Yes, we have 1 final public comment request from Danny Langford. Danny, your microphone is on and you may begin.
Good evening, and I'd like to welcome new board member Al. I look forward to meeting you someday. I agree with what Tiffany said, and while I'm glad you're going with the appointment route to fill Norma's seat, I will repeat what I said at the last meeting, that I feel you need to appoint somebody from District 1 since we are now going elections by district. It was quite shocking to hear Superintendent Luna say that that is actually what the opinion of legal counsel was with District 1 appointment, and yet nobody listened to her. That was shocking to me. The bottom line is we're now elections by district. You can't use Area 5. We already have representation for Area 5, which is Sarah. And as it stands now, Al would be the only representative from the north end. And that doesn't seem fair, nor does it meet the equity issue that you all speak so much about. I respectfully request you open applications to any qualified community member from District Area 1. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, board discussion.
I think it begs the question to just clarify that it was correct that only Area 1 was suggested, but there was new information revealed, more information revealed with legal counsel, hence 5 was added to this agenda from my understanding. So I think that's a good point of clarification for transparency and discussion.
Yeah, for sure.
It was not meant to be blindsiding, but that was new information that was provided to the board as well, not hiding the ball last week.
Right. No, I agree with that. Superintendent Luna?
Yeah, thank you for clarifying that, Co-President Wong. The reasons why Trustee Area 1 and 5 are written in the transmittal is because those are the 2 seats that would be open for November 2022 in completing the CVRA processes and the by area trustee areas that the board had adopted. So thank you for those clarifications.
Okay. Is there any other discussion on the board?
I'm just wondering that we just swore in a new trustee tonight, and my understanding is that said trustee may not have gotten all the information before he was, because he wasn't a trustee until night. Wondering whether or not we should give a little bit, just a little bit of time to digest the new information that was provided by council, as he was not part of last week's discussion or the information provided by legal counsel.
Right. Co-President Wong, I totally agree with you. I asked for council to be present at this meeting because Trustee Venegas was not at our last board meeting as a trustee. So he was not read into what is the, all the legal ramifications of this decision. And he didn't have the opportunity to, go over all the documents that we've had been privy to. So I tend to agree with you on that aspect. Any other comments?
I just wanted to say, with full transparency, receiving this information tonight, obviously not having access and not having the district email, I was just made of this information today. So thank you all for allowing potentially some more time to digest and for sure be making a decision moving forward at our next meeting or when we get the opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Trustee Venegas. Yeah, I mean, there's certainly the letter of the law, which is kind of ambiguous and vague, and then there's the spirit of the law, which is, a little more it's not even conclusive, but it's kind of vague too. So, there's certainly some things that we need to consider, and I think all of us need to be comfortable in making our decisions. And I think it would benefit us if we gave Trustee Venegas some time to digest some of the information that he's received tonight. So I would move that we table this to another time in which we can give him a couple days and maybe have a special session to make the determination at that point. Does that sound fair to everybody?
Yep, I move to table until a future date. Yes. Okay. I don't know if you need to second that because it's agendized, but.
Yeah.
Should we make a future date now so that it's open, since I know people are.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
Applying, and it has to be done sooner than later. This isn't like a future date in January. This is a future date.
Right. Right.
So, and I support, if you need more time, I'm ready to vote, but if you need more time, I support that. So, but I'm thinking that maybe we need to be open about what we're thinking of in terms of what a future date is.
Sure.
Yeah, and that feels fair. The one thing I know that some people are watching us at midnight, but maybe for transparency, can we go over the timeline again, the 60 days from which, just so the public hears our timeline and what happens after that date. Superintendent Luna? Because I don't know if we talked about that last time.
Yes, certainly. So Education Code states that should a board vacancy occur, the governing board has 60 days from the time that the seat became vacant to determine two things. One, either determine a special election or have the provisional appointment completed within the 60 days. Now, former trustee Alcala vacated her seat upon signing her oath of office for city council on December 7th. So 60 days, we're looking at approximately February 7th, February 6th. Our board meetings are scheduled. We're bringing revisions to the board as we want to be consistent with our board meetings every second and fourth Thursday of each month. So that would mean for January, it would be January 14th, January 28th, in order to make the 60 days before February 7th. That said, there is a process in those 60 days for a provisional appointment. We will have to have time to ensure that our public is able to see the application and be able to have time to apply should they be interested in serving upon the seat. The board will be doing the interviews of all the candidates in open session, but however, before that, usually there is a committee, 2 board members from the board, to review the applications for one purpose. And the purpose is to ensure that the applicants qualify under the Board of Trustees qualifications, such as they're 18 years old, they live in Washington Unified School District boundaries, and depending on the trustee area, that they live also in that trustee area, and that they are registered to vote as well. So the steering committee, 2 trustees would have to go through that process prior to the interview process in open session.
I believe it was, I'm wondering whether or not we can meet before the end of the week, given that we are going into break and work needs to be done. So I know that we were looking at Thursday or Friday. So is that sufficient enough time, Clerk Venegas?
Yes. Yes, I think Thursday. I would prefer Thursday.
I think that's probably a good timeline. You know, as long as everybody has a chance to look over the materials and read the code sections by 2 days, and shouldn't be that hard. I'd be fine with that.
Okay,
Good.
So I can. So is the motion to move to table it till Thursday for a special session?
And I would second that. Okay. So let's start with a roll call vote. Trustee Venegas.
Aye.
Clerk Venegas. Sorry, you said aye. Trustee Kirby Gonzalez.
Aye. Are we going to pick a time? No?
I'll trust staff and Superintendent Luna to figure out what might make the most sense and meet all our obligations.
I have a job that I cannot separate from.
My assumption is Superintendent Luna will make sure that everybody is available during that time.
Right. And let's see, Co-President Wong.
Aye.
And I too vote aye. So we have, good night, sweetheart. So we now have moved the meeting to Thursday to tackle this item. Trustee Wong, do you want to handle P?
I mean, moving on. Yeah, it's fine. I'm wondering moving forward if we just share every other.
Alternate. Yeah.
If that's okay with you.
Yeah.
But I'm happy to take this one if you prefer.
I don't care. Go ahead.
Board governance, revision to the board meeting calendar for the 2020-21 school year.
Thank you, Board of Trustees. So we are bringing this particular item to the board this evening to revise the board meeting calendar. We noticed that the board meeting calendar had the first and third Thursday in the month of January as the regularly scheduled board meetings, which are inconsistent to all our other board meetings. We always have our board meetings on the 2nd and 4th, and we want to make sure that we are consistent so that our public knows when our board meetings are. So this is an error in regards to the board calendar that was approved in May of 2020. So what we're recommending this evening for the board's approval is to have our board meetings in January 14th and 28th, which are the second and the fourth Thursdays, consistent with all the other board meetings of this year.
I don't know if there's discussion. Makes sense to me.
Make a motion?
Clerk Venegas, do you want a second? I was going to give him the opportunity to second. I'll make a motion.
I second that.
So roll call vote. Trustee Kirby Gonzalez,
Aye.
Clerk Venegas,
Aye.
Co-President Pizzotti,
Aye.
and I too vote aye. Motion passes. Okay. And there's now a motion to adjourn unless everybody wants to stay on and have a longer conversation and another election.
No. 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 I'm done.
Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I moved.
I'll second.
Okay. We'll change it up. Co-President Pizzotti,
Aye.
Clerk Venegas,
Aye.
Trustee Kirby Gonzalez,
Aye.
and I too vote aye. Unanimous decision. Good night,
Well, this
y'all.
was fun.
Congratulations.
Good
No,
night.
we